Hi there, Facebook, and bye there, Cleveland, and goodbye to you, LeBron, in Cleveland, I'm assuming. I think we just saw the end of the Cleveland Cavaliers as we knew and sort of loved them, and the end of LeBron's days effectively in Cleveland his second time around. I don't know, Philadelphia, that's my guess next year. He just doesn't have enough help. I really thought that the King would figure out a way to win that game. I'm about to unleash my early, knee-jerk, over-emotional gut feelings ahead of tomorrow's Undisputed, 9:30 to noon Eastern on Fox Sports 1. But first, as you settle in, a quick cameo from our daughter, our little Maltese, year and a half old, Hazel, the fiercest but most lovable Maltese this side of Malta. Boy, she doesn't want anybody to come near this house, come near her mom. Terror is a little Hazel. Here, her mom, Ernestine, hands her over. She's been watching LeBron. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm good. Hey, say hi to Facebook. Look, Hazel, look. 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 Hazel, look. It's Facebook. Hi. Hi, Facebook. Hi. I know. She kind of fell asleep. Late in the game, she just thought it was over after 3 quarters. And the truth was, it probably was. So, gut feeling. What did I just witness, so to speak? Not enough King. Look, this boiled down to the fact that on one end of the floor, Kevin Durant insisted on guarding LeBron James every time down and did a reasonable job of guarding LeBron James. I know there were occasional switches, but Kevin took him a lot. Kevin bothered him a lot, bothered him at the rim a lot. It was a weird night for LeBron. Usually, he's much better than that from distance. I only remember him making one outside the paint shot all night, I think, and it was the late 3 where he got the switch and then he was basically left wide open at the three-point line after the fake. And to his credit, he calmed down, sat down, followed through like it was a free throw, and he made it. And at the moment, it was a pretty big shot that barely kept Cleveland afloat. I think, and I could be wrong, I don't have a box score, I don't have a shot chart off the top of my head, knee jerk. I don't remember LeBron James making one other shot outside the paint, which is unusual. He has improved in year 15 from distance as much as any player I have ever seen, ever witnessed. And tonight, in front of the home crowd, he needed to detonate with just a couple three threes earlier than that late 3, some jumpers. Remember the fadeaways? What did he hit, like 8 in a row against the sorry Raptors? My partner on Undisputed, LaShannon Sharp, sitting across from me tomorrow, 9:30 to noon Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Continues to say, oh, that fadeaway, Jordan-esque, indefensible. I just, A, I didn't see many tonight, and B, he just could make nothing from distance. And this was his night. This was his stage. This was his moment to make this a series. And instead, just as happened last year in Game 3, Kevin Durant took the game over on both ends of the floor. Kevin Durant scored 43 points. And I forget, let me look at mine. I just scribbled these notes down. Hang on. What was he? Kevin wound up with 43 on 6 of 9 three-point shots, 15 of 23 shots from the field. That's just extraordinary. 7 of 7 from the free throw line, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, higher than usual for Kevin, and he threw in a steal. He usually blocks a couple shots, did not, but he bothered 4 or 5 of LeBron's at the rim. LeBron scored 33 points, so 10 fewer, 13 of 28 shots. So he missed 15 shots. Kevin only missed 8. LeBron went 1 for 6 from 3, but he did have 10 rebounds, 11 assists, as per usual. I predicted a triple-double, but I thought he'd score 45, and he scored 33, and Kevin scored 43. And that was the basketball game. Because what was driving me craziest, hang on, my daughter now has my ink pen. Hazel, don't. No, come here. You don't want that. Hang on. Thank you. Sorry. She didn't want to chew up my ink pen. She'll get ink all over her mouth, and then God knows what. Ernestine, it'll be my fault. My wife. Hazel, come on. Psst. Hang on. Ernestine, could you get her, please? Thank you. Sorry. Okay. I want her, then I don't want her. So, here's the bottom line. Ernestine, thank you. Hazel revved up. Here's the bottom line. What was driving me craziest is that once upon a time, LeBron James was a big-time defensive basketball player. First team all defense. 6 times he's been named first team. The last 2 years, he plays little to no defense. So many times tonight, he was just sort of caught looking, drifting, standing, watching yet another Golden State Warrior dunk. And it wasn't always his fault, but at least in the Indiana series, he would just play that one-man zone defense underneath the basket, and at least he would bother people at the rim. Tonight, he would just kind of drift and rest on defense. But occasionally, he would take Kevin Durant as Kevin brought the ball up, but driving me nuts, because I did pick the Cavaliers to win tonight, was that LeBron would then, as soon as they came to pick, he would just willingly, casually just give up Kevin Durant to whoever came over, Kevin Love, who knows, whoever drifted over, whoever was guarding, obviously the man who was picking. And LeBron contested Kevin Durant very few times tonight. That's your stopper. That's LeBron James on Kevin Durant. That's the matchup of matchups. That's the best matchup in the NBA. LeBron has to have, so to speak, blood in his eye. He needs to say, I'm not switching. I'm fighting through picks. They're casual picks. They're sort of half-speed picks. Just fight over the top. Just say, no, I got him, and I'm going to take him out of the game. This is our game. This is for the series. This is it. You owe your team from that childish meltdown, LeBron, at the end of regulation of Game 1 in Oakland, crying over the spilled milk, throwing the tantrum on the bench pre-overtime, basically throwing in the mental towel, pouting early in overtime, wouldn't shoot, refused to shoot for the first 2:26 of the overtime, then tried 4 half-hearted shots and missed all 4. That was the game to steal. That would have made Golden State play uphill the rest of the series. I thought it would be a 7-game series. Silly me. Forget about that. I mean, unless you're going to tell me the Kings going to lead them back from 3-0 down, no, not going to happen. Obviously, Golden State is better as a basketball team than the Cleveland Cavaliers, but LeBron is by far the best player on the court until tonight. I said today on Undisputed, again, 9:30 noon Eastern on Fox Sports 1, well, LeBron has reemerged as the best player. After Kevin Durant had his little meltdowns, not really on the sideline, but just his disappearing act against Houston, I just said, okay, I back off. I say what I see on TV. If I see Kevin Durant run from the basketball late in the games against Houston, what was it, games? I'm losing track. 3 and 4 and 5. Kevin was awful. And yet he reemerged tonight when the stakes were highest in the King's Palace in Cleveland, Ohio, as the best player on the planet. What a display. He took LeBron on defense, and he took over the game on offense. He was virtually unstoppable. And just as he did last year in LeBron's face, at least LeBron was guarding him on that play, he shot a dagger 3. This one was from even farther out. This one's on Rodney Hood. And by the way, Did Rodney Hood show up and show out tonight? Wow. I called out his coach Ty Lue for divulging yesterday, for volunteering to the media, oh, I'm going to play Rodney Hood tomorrow night. Why tell everybody? Why put all the pressure on that kid? He's 25 years old. He's never been in the spotlight before. He's a good player, man. He used to bedevil my Spurs. He can stroke it from three, and he's 6'8", like a 7-foot wingspan. He can defend, too. So it worked, I guess. I guess he felt thrust into the spotlight. I guess all the Cavs were backslapping him and pumping him up and telling him he can do this. I don't know what happened, but he looked like Rodney Hood tonight. And there were stretches of the game when Rodney Hood turned into LeBron James. Shocked. And that kept Cleveland afloat. And Kevin Love's a big-time basketball player. I don't care. I argue with Shannon Sharp, again, 9:30 to noon Eastern on Fox Sports 1. I argue every day. Kevin Love's a 5-time All-Star. He is not afraid of those bright lights or that stage. Where'd he go? I scribbled this down. 20 and 13. That'll work. That's help. JR had 13. Rodney Hood had 15. I thought Kyle Korver was going to come out of nowhere. He was a no-show because they just didn't give him the ball. They don't call plays for him anymore. I don't know what's happened to Kyle Korver. He's their answer to Steph Curry. Obviously, he's not Steph Curry, but he can do Steph stuff. I've seen Kyle Korver get hot from three where he's just like shooting free throws. Just effortless, little wrist flicks from three. And every time he shoots it when he's in rhythm and they run plays for him, I'm like, that's good. Bottom. Tonight, completely out of control, out of sync, out of whack. And he shot 1 for 5 from three in the first two games, and he was just 0 for 2 tonight, but it was just horrendous 0 for 2 where he took one from Akron that missed, just trying to force something in the basket, just to see it, feel it, try to regain his groove. Couldn't, so that hurt. But on a night that Steph Curry couldn't buy a basket until he finally hit a late, wide-open three-point shot 1 for 10 from three. What was he, 2 for, I don't have it in front of me, maybe 2 for 14 from the field, had one little scoop late layup. But on a night where Steph was anything but Steph, and on a night that Steph fell out of the MVP lead in these finals, you got to beat him. Obviously, pre-KD, I'll give you this, Shannon Sharp. Pre-KD, if Steph has a night like that, trouble, man. They're going to have a hard time winning, especially at Cleveland. Clay wasn't much of a factor either. What did he make? Couple threes? Steph and Clay combined, 3 for 15 from three. Wow. You should win that game, King. You should just win it. But when it was clear it was going to be Kevin's night, LeBron James has to say in the sideline huddle, I got him. I'm going to take him out of the game. Well, where did all this switching start? Let's switch everything. Baloney. The basketball I started covering in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, they fought over picks. They played physical basketball. They played football basketball. You got your guy, and nobody's going to pick you off. Nobody. Just fight through the pick. Fight over the top. If you got your guy, you got your guy. And if Michael Jordan said, I'm going to lock so-and-so up for the game, he just go lock him up. Trust me, there's no picking involved. LeBron was just half-heartedly like giving up. Like he knew exactly, his IQ is so high, it's like, okay, I'm going to take Kevin as he's dribbling the ball. Kevin brought the ball up the court. Steph just deferred completely. I don't got it tonight, man. You got it. You take it. You dribble the ball up the floor. You play point guard. Kevin Durant played 7-foot point guard the whole night. He would dribble and initiate the offense from the top. And LeBron, highest IQ in the history of basketball, would just say, okay, this is a semblance of covering Kevin Durant. So he'd take him as Kevin dribbled past half court, and then the first whiff of a pick from like Steph Curry, LeBron's like, okay, I'm out. I'm over here. You got him over there, Kevin Love, Rodney Hood, whoever it is. You got him. Rodney Hood was on him when Kevin made that dagger three. That had to be from like the 3-point line's 23-9, so it had to be from 28 feet, 29. I don't know. It was a bomb dagger, and that was it. That was basically ball game right there. Everybody knew it. Everybody in that arena knew it, and especially the King knew it. And in the end, Cleveland played its best first half of basketball, in the first half, and yet they just couldn't lose Golden State. They jumped off to, what were they up, 11, 12 at one point, maybe even 14, and Kevin Durant just kept saying, nope, not going away, not going away, not going away. And then the third quarter, here they came again, and they did what they've been doing all playoffs except for Game 2. When Cleveland hung right in and stood tall and said, no, we're going to own this third quarter. That was in Game 2 at Oakland. And they won it 34-31. Tonight, reverse. And the whole game reversed in the third quarter. And here came Durant. And just too many wide open dunks. Too many Jordan Bells. Too many JaVale McGee's. Too many Iguodala dunks. Every time I looked up, somebody's getting a wide open dunk. You can't win like that. It all boils down and comes back to this. The Cleveland Cavaliers were a horrible defensive team the whole year, and they can turn it on in surges, but in the end, it catches up. Their identity is their identity, and it caught up again tonight. They wound up 29th in the NBA out of 30 teams in overall team defense, and that's in the second half what it began to look like the 29th worst defensive team. LeBron James finished the regular season ranked 309th in individual defense. Really? I forgot to look this morning what he is. He'd been in the 40s for the playoffs. Of all the players in the playoffs, he's in the 40s. For a while, he was in the 70s, and then he got a little better in the conference finals against Boston. I think he's still in the 40s, but he comes and he goes. He picks his spots. He'll get a deflection here or there. He just has to set a tone. And the best defense they played for 4 quarters was against Boston in Game 3 in Cleveland when they just dominated and won by 30. But it was 2 halves of defensive, hellacious, ferocious basketball. And the first half tonight was a desperate physical stand by the home team. That's pride. That's guts. I used this line today on Undisputed. Again, 9:30 to noon Eastern on Fox Sports 1. We'll be on tomorrow, boy. It's going to be something. Talk about hellacious defense. My partner's going to have to play it tomorrow. He's already predicting he's going to get to wear his GOAT mask. He actually believes LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. What can I do? I can't. I try to cover for him. I try to walk him around it and out of it, but I can't help him. I can't save him. And tomorrow he's going to need a lot of help. LeBron doesn't have enough help, and tomorrow Shannon won't have enough help. He's got little to no chance. I'm sorry. I'll declare myself the winner already tonight. And by the way, I talked him into another bet. He now owes me 10 cases of Diet Mountain Dew. How could I not take this? I really thought the King would win this game tonight. I wanted him to win. I wanted this to have a semblance of credibility of being a real series, a finals. And end of show today on Undisputed. We've been going back and forth about give me points. Golden State was a 4.5-point favorite at Cleveland. Think about that. They were favored by 4.5. And at the end of the show, I kept asking 4 points with Golden State, like give me points. And my score was 97-93 Cavs. And I really liked my score at halftime, not so much after 3 quarters. But I kept saying, I need 4.5 points because I wrote it down on my paper. I showed it to Joy Taylor, a moderator. I said, look, this is the score I picked before the show started, so I can't back off that. I'm courage of convictions. That's what I thought. I slept on it. I thought lower scoring because if LeBron will control the tempo by mostly dribbling the ball up the floor at half speed and then initiating the offense as he did so effectively back in the first go-around, first time Golden State played Cleveland 2015. Remember games 1, 2, 3. Cavs went up 2-1. LeBron's just dribbling it up every time, playing point guard, point forward, point center, playing point everything, and kept the scores down in the 90s. And I thought that's the recipe for success tonight. And so I'm telling Shannon, well, I need 4.5 if I'm going to make a bet. And he said, well, I need to get a case back from you. I said, okay, so, and he said, I'll give you 4.5. I got Golden State plus 4.5 when they were minus 4.5 in Las Vegas. And how can I not take it? And it mixed my emotions because I was rooting for LeBron to win the game. But obviously, my pride's dictating that I'm rooting for Golden State to at least keep it real close. And all of a sudden, crunch time, it's just Golden State. They make all the shots, all the plays because they have more confidence against the King than he has against them. Remember, in this game last year, J.R. Smith, this game 3 at Cleveland, same scenario, down 0-2. Remember, J.R. Smith hit a big 3 with 3 minutes left in the game. I'm talking about 1 year ago, but virtually tonight in game 3. J.R. Smith hits a 3 with 3 minutes left that puts the home team, the Kings team, the Cleveland team, up 6. So they're up 6 with 3 minutes to go. Does Michael Jordan close that deal at home? Man, I think so. Okay, so then it gets to a minute and a half left. LeBron's dribbling the ball at the top of the circle, ball in his hand, in his control. They're still up 4. 4 with a minute and a half, and you got the basketball. And that was the play that he got a pick, and he gets a jump start and gets a step on Iguodala. And it's just attack. You got him. You got him. You saw tonight when LeBron would get a step. It was just like layup, dunk, whatever. And LeBron had a step, and he shied away and pulled it back. He's a little afraid, a lot afraid of the late game free throw line. But that's the one where you just suck it up, King. Just suck it up. If he hammers you and you got to go shoot 2, at least make 1, and then you're up 5 with a minute 25. That'll work. Just get a point, maybe 2 points. Maybe you get to the basket and make the basket. But he pulls it back out, settles for a fadeaway, maybe 17 feet, missed it badly, pulled it left. You can't do that. Then the door didn't just open, it flew open. And then the next play down, after KD went down and hit a big baseline jumper, next play down was the classic Kyle Korver play where LeBron has a step in the lane on, I believe it was Draymond. Now, KD was lurking. Just drive it. I want you to do it. I want you to pull the trigger. You do it. You're the best player on the planet, or so I'm told every day on Undisputed. Just make a play. And at the last second, he makes the quote-unquote right play to the wrong guy, Kyle Korver, who's never had to make that shot under those circumstances. It's a do-or-die, save the game kind of shot from the corner. It was open. I give you that. But it's just like game 1. Don't pass it to George Hill. You do it. George Hill was with my Spurs for 3 years. He's on 2 teams that got eliminated in the first round and a third team that got swept by Phoenix and Goran Dragic. Got swept in the second round of the playoffs. I just never loved George Hill. I just don't love him. And I said it the day the trade was made. I don't love him because I don't trust him in big moments. And what does LeBron do in game 1? He's got the ball in his hand, 7 seconds left. Down 1, and it's the classic case, do or die. You don't have any safety net. If you miss, you don't go to overtime anyway. It's not a tie game. You're going to have to make a shot, do or die, sink or swim, sink the shot or swim. And he gets switched on Steph Curry. He's got a 6'3" guy on 6'9" LeBron James, and he's hot from the outside. He was shockingly, mysteriously, strangely not hot from outside, even afraid to shoot from outside tonight. And in game 1, he'd made 7 of 14 shots outside the paint, had the hottest from distance hand I've ever seen him in a game of magnitude. And you just go up. Just go up and shoot a jump shot on Steph Curry. He's not going to bother you. You can't even reach your chin. And what does he do? The last second, he whips the pass up the lane, and George Hill had flashed open, and Klay Thompson just grabbed him, tackled him, fouled him. George Hill isn't going to make those 2 free throws. I'm sorry. You got to do it. You got to close it. Last year, it was up to LeBron. Just close the deal. And then he got a late shot last year up on the sideline. Iguodala's on him. But he had a shot from 3 to tie at or near the buzzer. And what happened? Iguodala just reaches in, slaps the ball, and it caroms off LeBron's knee and goes out of bounds. Ball game. They lost 11-0 from the time they were up 6 with 3 minutes left last year. They lost 11-0 at home. This is the guy you're telling me is better than Michael Jordan? Baloney. I mean, it's just laughable. It's offensive. It's sickening to me. He's a great player, but he's not even close to who Jordan was. Jordan, mentally toughest superstar in any sport ever. I covered him. I know him. I got it. I saw it. I felt it. I experienced it firsthand. LeBron, occasionally one of the mentally softest superstars we've ever seen. Talent? Talent. He pulled off the dunk tonight off the glass. You know, it's a supreme act of mental, physical superiority, where you go up and under, you get JaVale off his feet. JaVale McGee's 7 feet tall. You go up and under, and you realize the last second, okay, he's behind me, so the rim is unprotected, and you just ricochet straight off the glass, passing back to yourself. You get it. It's a wide open freeway to the basket, and you slam it. And then, of course, I cringed because every time he has a spectacular dunk, it reminds me that LeBron James not once did the dunk contest. It just drives me nuts. Just give the game one. I know he's not a contest dunker. He's more of a power dunker. I get that. If James does the dunk contest, trust me, every judge gives every dunk a 10. It wouldn't matter what it was. But no, he was afraid he might get shown up in the spotlight. I don't know. Be bad for his brand, his shoe brand. I have no idea. Never even submitted to giving the league back one dunk contest. Obviously, Michael Jordan made himself in his shoe brand in the dunk contest. And don't get me started on Dr. J and Dominique. They all the greats did. Whatever. LeBron pulls off a great play because he's a great basketball player, but the mental toughness, the guts, the grit, the refuse to lose, I just don't see it. So once again tonight, it's your house. Down the stretch, you have to say, okay, the game has boiled down to me versus Kevin. You guys have been rivals since you schooled him in the finals in, 2012, after your meltdown in the 2011 finals. You got the baby Thunder, KD, Westbrook, and Harden. I was there for all of them. And LeBron got away with the foul on Durant on the baseline in Game 2 after Oklahoma City had just cakewalked to Game 1, and it turned the game around because it should have been called a foul, and it wasn't. And LeBron got the rebound and got fouled, and to his credit, marched to the other end and made those 2 free throws that iced the game. And then they went home to Miami, and it was a tour de force. Baby Thunder weren't ready for that. LeBron took Kevin Durant down low and just ate him alive. He took him to school again and again and again. He taught him lesson after physical lesson after lesson. It was a man and basically a child, a youngster in Kevin Durant, stick man. He's still a stick man, but he has NBA strength. He's got natural strength, not weight room strength like LeBron, just natural strength. And did he ever bother LeBron tonight? Do not underestimate the job that Kevin Durant did on LeBron all over the court, especially outside the paint. He wouldn't let him do his up and back, up and back, up and back, step back. He got him completely out of rhythm from distance, and all LeBron could do was drive it and hope to get fouled. Should LeBron have gotten more foul calls tonight? Yes. But he complains and whines and acts out so often to the refs. Trust me on this, and I've been hearing this from a lot of my NBA cohorts that I've known for years around the league. I was getting texts tonight. LeBron's doing himself in with the refs because he just bitches and moans too much. So after a while, they're like, okay, you're 6'9" and 270 pounds, and you're too big and strong for any of these people to keep from the rim. Just do it. You do it. We're not going to help you. We're not going to send you the free throw line every time. So it's hard to even referee him to start with. But I don't know, 5 or 6 times LeBron got to the rim tonight and just failed to get it in the basket. Those are big shots. That's the difference in scoring 33 versus Kevin Durant's 43. Kevin has to do it he has to do it upside down. Most of his are from some distance, mid-range to long range. 6 threes, and I'll have to look at the shot chart. Boy, if he had 15 shots, he must have had, of the other 9, 6 more mid-range jumpers. 7 or 8, it seemed like. Did he have any dunks? I don't remember. Did he have a couple little inside up and under shots? I think so. I'll look. I'll have it tomorrow on Undisputed by the time we tip off 6:30 this time, 9:30 Eastern. I'm in Los Angeles. But in the end, it's just those two mano a mano. And once again, I thought the torch got passed last year, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to tell Shannon Sharp, I'm going after him tomorrow. I'm going to go after him. Because when the stakes are highest, when the chips are pushed into the middle of the table in the do-or-die finals game, Kevin Durant was the best player on the planet. Was he not tonight? That was just tour de force, start to finish. Offense, defense, Kevin Durant. LeBron had enough help to win, but down the stretch, there just wasn't enough LeBron. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. Kevin took it over, and LeBron took it on the chin. So, in the end, it's sad, but this is going to be a sweep. I just don't feel... LeBron threw his teammates under the bus the other day, yesterday, when he was asked about the meltdown before overtime of Game 1. And he said, how much more, I'm paraphrasing the quote, but it's how much more do I have to pick up teammates? As if he's been carrying them all year. We all know he has carried this team, obviously, but you can't say it publicly because you just burn the bridge, the emotional bridge, the connection with your teammates. And I think this team will throw in the psychological towel the way LeBron did before overtime of Game 1. And I think this could be a Golden State victory parade on Friday night. I hope I'm wrong about that, but that's my gut feeling, is it's just going to be a victory parade right down Main Street in Cleveland, superhighway to the basket. That's the end of LeBron in Cleveland. Again, my educated guess, my gut feeling is he's got to go to Philly. He's got to stay in the East. This is long shot stuff, but I just have this weird feeling that Colangelo is going to get jettisoned after his burner account fiasco. I just wonder, would Greg Popovich take the GM job? I'm a big Spurs fan, but it felt like Popovich burned his bridge with Kawhi Leonard. And would R.C. Buford sort of expedite, grease the skids, encourage this for Popovich, who was a GM before he became a coach, that he would take over the GM-ship in Philly for Brett Brown, who's an assistant to Popovich. They're close friends. Be a good 1-2 punch, clearing the way for Ime Udoka to take over the Spurs. I'm a big fan. He should have been a head coach 3-4 years ago. Stud. So he takes over the Spurs. Would LeBron love it if it's Popovich and Brett Brown in control? I think he would. Of course, LeBron wants to be in control. East, still the lesser of the conferences anyway. And that just makes the most sense to me. Up and coming, on the verge team. You could win the East, get back to a ninth finals, and just hope you got enough nuclear firepower with, obviously, Embiid and Ben Simmons. And if you could keep your array of sharpshooters, keep Redick, Bellinelli, Ilyasova, maybe you'd have enough you'd be a little better off than Cleveland. So maybe that would work. But it's sad that LeBron has failed so many times in so many big spots when Golden State was so gettable in Game 1. Golden State was gettable and beatable tonight. Cleveland is much more physical than Golden State. Cleveland has been dominating them on the backboards, and they did it again tonight. They won by 10. They were up 12 at halftime, and they won the boards by 10. Tristan Thompson was everywhere inside, whirling dervish, creating havoc for Golden State. Larry Nance played his tail off. LeBron had enough help to win tonight. But Kevin Durant was the king. in the King's house. Kevin Durant, once again, laid claim to best player on the planet. I cannot wait for Undisputed tomorrow, 9:30 to noon Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Shannon Sharp predicted big win for the King tonight, a 45-point, I believe, triple-double. And he said he's going to wear his GOAT mask tomorrow. So what mask will he wear? He should wear a mustache and glasses so he can't be recognized. I'll be there with Shannon. Hope you'll be there with us. I can't wait. I won't sleep much. I'll be reading. I'll be watching. And I appreciate you for watching and listening here tonight on Facebook Live. I'll see you tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Good night, Facebook.